Light is Britain's far-right conspiracy theory paper spreading hate and vicious lies. No, that's what the BBC say. The Light is the only national newspaper bringing you the real news and informed opinion on what's really going on today. You can subscribe, order copies, submit articles, and read back issues on our website, thelightpaper.co.uk, and see for yourself why the establishment are so worried about the uncensored truth getting out to people every month. The Light Paper. Not far right, just right so far. thelightpaper.co.uk.
Scene script. Have you ever pondered the idea of financial independence and early retirement? The notion of not having to clock in at 9 or wrestle with the daily grind? Imagine a life where you're not shackled by financial obligations or a demanding job. It's not an impossible dream, but a reality for those who embrace the FIRE movement. That's financial independence, retire early. Consider the tale of Jane, a woman in her early 30s. Jane was an ordinary person living an ordinary life. She had a 9-to-5 job, a mortgage, car payments, and a lifestyle that was comfortable but hardly extravagant. And like most people, she dreamed of a life where she didn't have to worry about money. Jane decided to make a change. She began by cutting back on non-essential expenses, saving as much of her income as possible. She invested wisely, focusing on assets that generated passive income that didn't require her to trade time for money. Slowly but surely, Jane began to build her financial independence. She was still working, but she was no longer living paycheck to paycheck. She had a safety net, a cushion that gave her the freedom to make choices based on what she wanted, not what she needed. Fast forward 10 years, Jane, now in her early 40s, had achieved her goal. She was financially independent. She had enough passive income to cover her living expenses, and she no longer needed to work to survive. She was free to retire early, to spend her time as she pleased. Jane's story may seem extraordinary, but it's not unique. It's the story of anyone who has embraced the principles of the FIRE movement. It's a tale of discipline, of sacrifice, and of a relentless pursuit of financial independence. To summarize, the key points discussed today revolve around the idea of financial independence and early retirement. It requires discipline and sacrifice, cutting back on non-essential expenses and saving as much as possible. It involves investing wisely, focusing on assets that generate passive income. But most importantly, it requires a change in mindset. It's about seeing money not as a means to buy things, but as a tool to buy freedom. It's about understanding the true value of time and the freedom that comes with not having to trade it for money. This is the essence of the FIRE movement. It's not just about retiring early, it's about achieving financial independence, about gaining the freedom to live life on your own terms. Like Jane, you too can embrace the principles of the FIRE movement and embark on a journey towards financial independence and early retirement. After all, the only thing standing between you and your financial freedom is you.
Ever wondered how much you'd need to save to achieve financial independence? The answer lies within the mathematics of a concept known as FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. The most essential number in your journey to financial independence is calculated by multiplying your annual spend by 25. Notice the emphasis on annual spend, not annual income. This calculation is based on the principle that you need £300 invested for every pound you wish to spend each month in passive income. Hence, your FIRE number is also your monthly spend times 300. This mathematical principle is founded on the 4% safe withdrawal rate, as defined by financial advisor William Bengen. He proposed this rate after analyzing the S&P 500, which typically produces an average of better than 10% growth per year when studied over a period of approximately 30 years. Bengen considered factors such as inflation and market volatility. After studying previous market activity, he concluded that a 4% rate of withdrawal per year would provide for a 30-year sustainable portfolio in the vast majority of cases. So to paint a clearer picture, if your monthly spend is £1,000, then your target for financial independence is 300 times 1,000, or £300,000. Alternatively, if your annual spend is £12,000, your financial independence target is 25 times 12,000, which also equates to £300,000. The first step in planning your financial independence, therefore, lies in understanding your monthly and yearly expenditure. Without this knowledge, it is impossible to take further strides towards your financial freedom. In summary, the mathematics of FIRE revolves around the principle of multiplying your annual spend by 25 or your monthly spend by 300 based on the 4% safe withdrawal rate. Knowing your monthly and annual spend is crucial in determining the amount you need to save to achieve financial independence. Armed with this knowledge, you can then plan your journey towards financial freedom. Remember, the journey to financial independence is not a sprint, but a marathon. Embrace the mathematics of FIRE and take the first step towards your financial independence today.
Good morning, guys. It is 10:46 on Monday the 21st of July 2025. That means we have completed 3 years and 16 weeks of what will be roughly an 8-year FIRE journey, FIRE experiment if you prefer. Let's have a look and see where things are at the present time. Currently the Vanguard S&P 500 exchange traded fund is trading at £89. It is up about 1/4% for today. The portfolio value is sitting at 25,700, and the return on investment just shy of 25%. Currently we have 289.5 shares, and the average purchase price is sitting at 71.32. As I have mentioned in recent weeks, you note a little similarity on the graph. Back in 2020 we had the COVID effect, which caused a bit of a drop in prices, followed soon after by what was termed a V-shaped recovery. Then if we look a little bit further up, about halfway across the screen, you've got a period of instability, which essentially is represented by the start of the Ukraine conflict. That then settles down and the market continues as normal before Donald Trump's tariff announcements caused a second shoot in prices, followed again by another V-shaped recovery, although I have not heard anybody else use that term to describe it. Now, I suppose the truth is I've not been very active in following what other commentators are saying, but it was clear to me from fairly early on that that was probably quite likely to happen. And indeed that's what we have seen. So before we have a look at the notifications, let me just draw your attention to Monzo.
I want a bank that makes money easy.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
And you are?
We're a bank called Monzo.
Oh.
I want a bank that shows me what I spend instantly.
No problem, just give us a go. See?
Can you make splitting bills easy?
Super easy, check this out.
But it's a real faff to sign up.
It takes less than 10 minutes.
Race you.
You're on.
Can I talk to a real person 24/7?
Of course.
Even now?
Yep.
Even now?
Anytime.
Can you tell me when I'm running a little low on cash?
We certainly can.
Cool. Can I afford these?
You certainly can't, sorry. Can't afford that either.
That's a real shame.
Not really. Time's up, how'd you get on?
It's a draw.
Can you help me save for my next holiday?
Oh, how about you set up a savings pot in the Monzo app called Barbados, baby?
Thanks for listening, Monzo.
We're all ears.
We can go now.
Rude. You make Monzo Monzo.
Okay, so there is a Monzo link in the description. You'll also find one for Smarty Mobile, which is the company that I'm currently using for my mobile phone. And I find both of those are very easy to use and give good value. The Monzo one gives you the ability to create savings pots, as mentioned in the ad. And you get a decent amount of interest on that as well. Although that said, if you've got free cash in your Trading 212 account, you will actually get interest on that too currently. So that's also worth bearing in mind. In fact, the free the cash uninvested funds, I suppose they should be called, in Trading 212 probably attracts a slightly higher rate of interest currently than on Monzo. Now, I have to just point out that might be more true on the ISA side of things than the invest side, but you know, do your own research, look into it, and see what works for you. As regards investing, I personally encourage people to invest consistently and regularly. Personally, for me, I invest weekly, and that is despite the fact that I am paid monthly. I suppose you could choose to do your investments monthly, but I just prefer to do it that little bit more frequently. So now that we've had a look at that, let's have a look at the notifications. So first off, Netflix declines 5% as solid Q2 results and guidance fell short of soaring investor expectations. Biggest stocks before earnings: Roper, Verizon, Ryanair, Dynex and Domino's. Coinbase jumps 5% to an all-time high amid regulatory progress and crypto week buzz. SAB on the rise, up 13% after stellar Q2 results and outlook hike driven by European defence spending. So of course SAB also involved in aircraft manufacture as well as historically cars. Not sure if they still actually do cars, because I had just when I read the name I kind of thought, oh, are they still trading? I thought they had perhaps stepped away from the car market, but I don't know. GSK, that's GlaxoSmithKline, the big pharmaceutical company, down 6.5% as FDA panel rejects blood cancer drug over eye damage risks. Now that is interesting because there has been some stuff in the media in recent times, but not talking about GSK, but actually talking about Pfizer having been recognised as that the Pfizer COVID jab had been recognised as being potentially damaging to some cells within the eye, if I remember correctly. I'm sure you can find more about that online. I wasn't aware that this was going to pop up, otherwise I would have found that and had it available, but there you go. So GlaxoSmithKline suffering some sort of a similar issue as far as I can tell. Right, so that's it for the notifications. Just to recognise, the market has pulled back very slightly from the start of the video, so rather than being up 0.25%, now it's up just over 0.1% for today. Let's go ahead and do our weekly investment. So if you're a regular viewer, you'll know that each week I invest £120 of the theoretical portfolio into the Vanguard S&P 500 exchange traded fund, and we're looking at it on the Trading 212 practice platform. So it's using real market data, and the only difference that I've been able to ascertain to date, which is different from real world, is simply that I would imagine that execution is guaranteed on the trading on the practice platform, whereas it may take a little longer sometimes in real life, just depending on how many people are selling at the time that you're looking to buy. And the other difference that I've noticed as well is that, as far as I can ascertain, on the practice platform, you don't get the dividends that you would get in real world either. So £120 invested at the current market price is going to buy us roughly 1.35 shares. I normally do this as a market, I always do this as a market order. So I'm not putting on any stops or limits. It's a market buy. As you can see, there's no commission. Let's send it through and see how that goes. So we did manage to get 1.349 shares, and the purchase price was 88.92.5, and that brings our new portfolio value to 25,860. And our return on investment at 24.5%, and that means we've got 290.8 shares now. The new average purchase price has risen to 71.40. And guys, just to reiterate, this is after 3 years and 16 weeks investing £120 per week. So imagine if you were to have done this in real life. If you look at the return there, you see we would be up 5,000 currently in the space of 3 and a bit years. How does that sound? If you were to put the same amount into a bank, you would be sitting with a portfolio, a total balance of just around about 20,000, 20,800 maybe, after 3 years, but you would be missing out on that extra 5,000. Equally, let me just do a quick calculation actually, because I just want to see what would it work out at. Let's say if you had been very lucky and you had managed to find a bank that would offer you 5% interest per year. So £120 per week, so let's say times 52, so that's 6,240 per year. I'm going to add 5% onto that, so that would give you 6,552 roughly. I'm going to add a second year's worth of savings, if you like, to that. So that's before the interest. Let's add another 5%. Okay, and let's add a third year's savings, and we'll add another 5%. Okay, and then we need to add the final 16 weeks worth, which I'm going to work out just on the side. Here's another 1920. Okay, so if you had managed to find a bank account which was offering you a 5% interest rate year on year, if the interest was added annually and compounded at this stage, you might expect to have a bank account with actually roughly in around about 21,500 in it. Guys, this is not scientific, this is just calculated very roughly, as you might say, on the back of an envelope. But you can see there you're still missing out on quite a bit of the growth that the S&P 500 can provide. So I'm going to come back out of that. And I'm not going to say that the methodology is proven or anything like that at this stage. Obviously, when you're investing, you need to be able to invest money that you're not going to need to access in the short term. And that's why I would always encourage people to have a cushion of cash available, so that if you do need to get access to cash in the short term to, I don't know, replace some white goods, to get some work done on your car, to get some work done on your house, to do whatever needs to be done, those little sort of one-off expenses that come up from time to time, maybe even replacing a car. Make sure you've got a cushion that will allow you to have that money available, so that you're not having to dip into your portfolio whenever it is not a good time to do so. There would be no point otherwise. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. I just would like to thank you for watching. If you found this interesting, why not give it a thumbs up, and if you're interested in following the journey, hit the subscribe button. Comments, questions, suggestions and criticism, all welcome in the comments, and I will endeavour to have a look at those and respond appropriately in due course. But as I say, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and if you can, join me again at some point next week. I'll be back with more. In the meantime, have a great end